All right. Typically on this show, we have avoided political stories over the years, mainly because as time has advanced, they've gotten too stupid for us. Like they've
gotten too upsetting.
We've been
it isn't even funny anymore.
We've been trying to compete with just terrible things. This week, however, I cannot ignore this story because this is the most legendary what the fuckery, considering the pedigree involved, considering all of the circumstances. You could not. This is God got drunk is my only explanation here.
Like every time you think you've hit, this is as crazy as this is going to get. No.
RFK Jr. admits to dumping dead bear in Central Park, solving a decade-old mystery. So back in 2014, in the middle of Central Park, someone was jogging along, as they're wont to do in Central Park, and they found a dead bear cub underneath a bicycle in a bike lane. Now, apparently that aspect of the story got completely lost because it was easy to determine the bear had been hit by a car.
Apparently there were also stab wounds.
Maybe, yeah. So it was already, and bears are not indigenous to Central goddamn Park.
No.
That's not their natural fucking habitat.
Bears not really fond of Manhattan with all the noise and the people.
So no one understood this, and it just got reported on, and time passed. Here we are, 10 years later. Someone had finally done the work, the reporting work, to dig this up and was about to go public with it. They had found the culprit. So RFK Jr. decided to get ahead of the story with Roseanne Barr for reasons.
Like the whole video I was watching, and I'm like, is that Roseanne? Whoever that is looks remarkably like Roseanne.
It was, in
fact,
fact,
be Roseanne.
He made a video with Roseanne Barr trying what he thought was a sane explanation. I don't know how, but he thought it was. So it shows him
just taking my friends for some falconry.
It shows him
sitting. People do falconry.
It shows him sitting at a kitchen table telling an incredulous-looking Roseanne Barr about how the dead bear ended up in his van upstate and ultimately on top of a bicycle beneath the bush in New York City's largest urban park. Kennedy, an animal lover, what the fuck, NPR, really? And former environmental lawyer, said he was driving upstate early one morning to take a group of people falconing in the Hudson Valley when a driver in front of him fatally hit a bear cub. So I pulled over, quote, and picked up the bear and put it in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear. It was in very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. So already, we have RFK Jr., the final scion of the Kennedy family, son of Bobby Jr., nephew to JFK himself.
His kid dated Taylor Swift for like a minute and a half.
And this guy, one of the political dynasties of America, love him or hate him, sometimes
if you
both,
were raised Irish Catholic, basically the royal family,
decided, hey, somebody hit a bear. I'm not going to call the authorities. I'm just going to go over there and throw it in the back of my van to eat it.
Yeah.
Roadkill. Here's a fucking Kennedy trying to eat roadkill. This story is making my brain go.
He actually, someone in the chat was like, maybe that's where he got the worms. He actually makes that joke in the video that might be how he got the brain worm.
It just,
But then, like, but wait, there's more.
So he was going to take it home, but the bear never made home. Kennedy says he got waylaid
He
after
had dinner reservations at Peter Luger's.
Got
where
waylaid
they
by
do
a
not
busy
serve roadkill.
got waylaid by a busy day of falconry, then had to rush back to New York City for a dinner at Peter Luger Steakhouse, which ran late. I had to go to the airport, and the bear was in my car, and I didn't want to leave the bear in the car because that would have been bad. Why is it bad now?
Why?
Robert?
Why does it just get bad?
Why did that become bad? You've had a dead bear in your car you found on the side of the road. That was your first initial all day. And now it's like, oh, well, this could get bad.
And the conspiracy theory I have seen about the stab wounds is that the bear actually wasn't dead, so he finished it off.
Like,
yes, the brainworm story is also real. Pretty much when it comes to this dude, if you hear some crazy shit, it's probably true. I know that's normally the opposite of what we tell you, but this guy, he's an anomaly.
So Kennedy just happened to have an old bike in his car, which he said someone had asked him to get rid of. He recalled the city had just put in the bike lane after a number of serious accidents and decided to stage the bear in Central Park as if it had been hit by a bike.
Because as we all know, bike versus bear, bike wins every time. Totally. No, it was a baby bear.
That was a cub.
Still, those are just smaller fuzzy tanks.
So this all sounds like it's lies. It sounds like a story's making up, but it's also not.
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking.
The walking Mad Libs.
Quote, I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea, Kennedy said. So we went and did that. We thought it would be amusing for whoever found it or something.
And through the whole video, Roseanne Barr is like holding a coffee cup and her face, the whole video is just like.
And this is Roseanne. This who's made it a point to just fuck with. Yeah, she has gives no
just
fucks.
Like, am I safe here?
But it gets stranger because the New York Times reporter who covered the story and tried to figure out how it happened was Robert Kennedy Jr.'s niece.
Yep.
Tatiana Schlossberg.
Can you imagine? Now, listen, I'm going to say for the record that, yes, I'm aware that the Kennedys were corrupt as fuck.
Oh, yes.
Joe Kennedy was suited up with
yes.
organized crime, and that's how JFK got the White House. Yeah. But can you just imagine? Because I was raised very Irish Catholic. We literally had a 16 by 20 headshot of JFK in our basement. It was so creepy. So can you just imagine you are like all the Kennedys up in heaven, Rose and JFK and Bobby and all of them up there, and they're just like, what the fuck happened?
And Teddy's up there going. Teddy's up there
like,
going.
I'm not the fuck up anymore.
I'm not the worst one anymore.
All I did was kill an intern.
Fuck.
And everyone's looking at Bobby, and Bobby's like, dude, I died when he was 8. I don't know what to tell you.
JFK Jr.'s like, I was in a plane crash, and he's a bigger wreck than I am.
Yeah.
And even
JFK
better.
Jr. was like the last hope, the last gasp of hope for that family.
Even better.
And now he's resurrected and in QAnon.
Now, almost 10 years later, Kennedy said he was prompted to come clean ahead of an anticipated New Yorker expose. So he put this video on social media and then said, quote, looking forward to seeing how you spin this one.
As though they have to now.
I mean, it's
the part that The part that was a bummer for me is, I don't know if you still watch John Oliver on Sunday nights. I love watching John Oliver.
Uh-huh.
His whole deep dive last night was about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He did 20 minutes on this guy, and the video dropped like while the show was on the air. So John Oliver and his whole writing team are just sitting around like, motherfucker. Like, that was a gold mine if we'd waited one more week.
This is kind of like somebody's about to throw a water balloon at you. So you're like, oh, you can't get me, and you shit yourself. Right?
Like, he thinks these things are he thinks he sounds so reasonable is the scary thing.
Right?
He's like, no, they're going to make it sound weird. Let me explain. Let me explain, Roseanne.
What in the fuck? What is happening? Are you seeing? I hope everyone at home can see why we could not ignore this one. It's just too weird. This is the weird. Fuck.
And like, he's on TikTok, and on TikTok he was talking. He made a nice little video about these two ravens that he's trained, and someone I work with was like, I'm just going to vote for the nice raven man. And I'm like, no, you don't understand how crazy. And she's like, what? I thought he was just a cool weirdo with ravens. And I'm like, no, there is crazy there that does not sleep.
And finally,
I've
this
gone
week,
9 hours at a stretch without peeing.
Finally, this week, we learned the son of Robert Kennedy, the nephew of JFK, found a roadkill bear with the intent of eating it, put it in his car, and then thought, the hell with it, I'm going to dump it in the middle of Central Park.
And he has already, by the way, had to deny eating a dog.
Think of all the millions of people there are in New York City. What are the chances? It was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Like, watching the news report on this today has been amazing, because they're all like, we covered this story. Here's the footage of us covering this story. We wouldn't have called this one.
Like, quite literally, he could have plausibly said, come on. You really think I did? I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Come on. Right. I dumped a bear in Central Park. Instead, he went, nope, I did it. I had a ball with it. Fucking dumped a bear. He actually said, oh my God, I thought I hope my fingerprints aren't on that bike. He thought he...
And there's a picture of him with his hand in the bear's mouth. Like, he took funny pictures, pretending the bear was biting him.
Tomorrow, we'll have a picture of him fucking himself, because that's what he's doing.
And there are still people that are like, this is my guy. Okay.
Well, put it this way. He might not be respected, but every other world leader will definitely fear his ass.
Listen, the president of Ireland, and the president of Ireland is a largely ceremonial position, but the president of Ireland is a delightful hobbit with two Bernese mountain dogs. Literally, look the man up. He's a hobbit. They go everywhere with him. Formal events, the dogs are there. You better fucking like dogs if you're going to be seeing President Higgins, right? I promise you, he would kill a motherfucker for those dogs. I don't care if it's Kennedy. He'd be like, oh yeah, I hear your family's very big with the Irish people there. Sit the fuck down and get away from my dog.
This fucking guy. What the hell? How did you landed like you fell out of a blessed vagina for fuck's sake. You're golden, and this is what you did with your life. Like, we were looking at Ted and going, Jesus Christ.
I know, we all thought Ted was the fuck up for so long.
This is amazing. Ted actually got himself elected. This guy, fuck. All right, well, that's...
I mean, Ted did a lot of good work in the Senate. That's not going to be a popular statement. I'm not saying he was a good guy. He wound up eventually being effective at his job. Doesn't mean he was a good guy. Before you all yell at me.
Jesus
I don't think this guy would be good at the job.
I don't think he'd be good at any job. Has he ever had a job?
He was a very prominent environmental lawyer, and apparently he was very good at that job before he went insane, or before he stopped hiding that he's insane. I don't know. And people make fun of the way he talks. That's actually a medical issue. So I'm like, he has vocal paralysis. That's a thing. And interestingly, when Lupita Nyong'o did Us, she consulted with him to create the speech pattern for her character. Why do I know that? I don't know.
Just Jesus, the fucking who sees man? Whenever I see something dead on the side of the road, I'm like, oh. I don't go, oh, I feel like chicken tonight, I don't do that shit.
I did used to have a friend whose husband would collect roadkill to make like Native American art. He was not Native American. Yeah. But I don't think they were eating it.
No. All right. Well, it's so weird, Tara. I don't.
We never should have turned on the Large Hadron Collider.
We never should. Yeah. I'm doing better now, fortunately, but at least I say I was doing better because then I got to this week's stories. We'll get to it in a second. Let's get the intro rolling. Jiminy Crimus. Jimis Crimus. Put this up over here. And we need to go to, here we go. There we go. Each week, Catherine, the Radio Dead Air audience, go out in the worldwide interwebs, find all sorts of horrible stuff, something we like to call, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Tara, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I said, we have hit the high water mark. Nothing is going to beat this. I said,
and
Tara,
I
said we were at the point where nothing was, it was as hard as could be. Nothing was getting, that was it. That was fucking it. I said.
Yeah. And I was like, you're wrong though.
He is becoming a nemesis. How is this possible? How is a goddamn Kennedy the nemesis of this the fucking moron show? A word was introduced into my lexicon. A phrase was introduced in my lexicon this weekend, Tara. Do you know what that phrase was?
No.
Whale juice.
What?
Did you not?
Wait,
were you
I
not
didn't
aware
hear
of
about this one. What?
You didn't hear about this? Oh my goodness.
No.
The environmental advocacy organization is calling for an investigation of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. following the resurfacing of an interview where his daughter said he cut a dead whale's head off with a chainsaw. Kennedy cut off a whale's head with a chainsaw in or around 1994 after finding out it washed up on Squaw Island in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. His daughter, Kick Kennedy, told Town and Country magazine.
Who names their daughter Kick? I don't know if that's her legal name.
Well,
that's what she goes by.
She's Kathleen, but they call her Kick.
That's okay. Because I keep seeing that name, and I'm like, is that her legal name? Is he that insane?
He bungee corded it to the roof of the family's minivan and drove it to Mount Kisco, New York. Quote,
can you imagine being on the fucking highway?
every time we accelerate on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet. Quote, we all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us.
Let me tell you something about, I'm familiar with Mount Kisco. I used to live near there. And the highway that runs through that part of New York, 684. 684 is the fucking wasteland. People drive on 684 like it's a Mad Max movie. And it's all fucking suburban Westchester, New York. Doesn't matter. People drive like it's the wasteland. You could be going 95 miles an hour. You're not going to get pulled over. The cops don't bother. They don't care. And still, I feel like it would fuck people up to be driving by a car with the head of a whale strapped to the top. And if that didn't fuck you up enough, then you're going to be like, is that Bobby Kennedy's kid?
Like I thought. For fuck's sakes, I thought this shit with the bear and Roseanne. And I thought that was the weirdest fucking possible thing.
If you have a child that is dismembering animals, that is an early sign of a serial killer. And you're supposed to get that kid to therapy yesterday.
Part of the reason why this is
like the fourth story of him dismembering an animal for funsies.
Oh yeah. The reason why this
he's a Kennedy, so the power and resources exist that he could have killed hundreds of people. We'll never know.
Well, the reason this is cropping up again is, well, obviously people are going back and looking through old interviews and stuff. Also, just while we're just tangentially, apparently Kick Kennedy is the reason that Ben Affleck left J-Lo again.
What?
He's dating Kick Kennedy. Yeah.
I really feel like Ben Affleck has been a walking cry for help for about 10 years now. So, and nobody will help him.
So the reason why people are looking back through these old interviews, this is from 2012, but actual environmental groups, not like, Bobby Kennedy Jr. claimed he was being, actual environmental groups are pointing out that this is a violation of a law, that the Marine Mammal Protection and Endangered Species Act, which says you can't do this, that if something washes up on the beach, even if it's dead, you can't grab a chainsaw and drive 100 miles and cut its head off and take it home. You're not allowed to do that. It's very illegal.
I honestly didn't know you could cut through a whale with a chainsaw.
Oh, you can cut through anything with a chainsaw if you believe.
They seem designed to be resistant to that, though. Normally, an unverified anecdote would not provide sufficient evidence as the basis for conducting an investigation. However, Mr. Kennedy has admitted that he has recklessly and with no regard to legal requirements taken other species of wildlife for his own personal benefit. The man... Maybe this is why Trump is talking about Hannibal Lecter so much on the campaign trail.
How not only is it twice, Tara, how does it get worse? Because the dead bear was bad enough. That was pretty bad. The taking the bear and posing with the bear, your hand in the bear, that was bad. But this is actual corpse dismemberment and hauling it down the high. Man, even hunters don't typically dismember the thing and put it on the car. They take the whole thing home. I mean,
the whole whale wasn't going to fit on top of the car, Nash. Be reasonable.
I just love that Bobby Kennedy Jr., Bobby's special little boy, was watching the TV and saw a dead whale on the beach and went, let me get my chainsaw. And this was a normal weekend for the fucking Kennedys.
And the stupidest part is he didn't have to drive it to Mount Kisco because it says he found it in Hyannisport. That is the seat of the Kennedy compound. They literally call it a compound. It is basically Buckingham Palace for the Kennedys in Massachusetts. Like, there was somewhere for it to go.
Do you think the rest of his family would have let him drive a dead whalehead in there?
They let him do all the rest of this shit.
I don't think they let him so much as, Jesus Christ, Bobby, what did you do this time?
Can you imagine? Like, and listen, I said this last time, the Kennedys are a fucked up family to the root. And I say this as somebody who was raised by parents who worshiped JFK because we were Irish Catholic, and you do.
Right.
But like, the Kennedys are a fucked up family. Like, the more you learn about the Kennedys, the more you're like, oof, yikes.
Fucking chainsaw, Tara.
And they're all like you do the bar graph of fucked up shit in the Kennedys, and everyone else levels out around here, and then you got Bobby, who just
I'm just like, what's going to happen in 2 weeks now? What are we going to find out in 2 weeks? Is it going to be shit we can't talk about here? Is it going to be that bad? Because we have limits here.
There are rumors.
Oh God.
That he is replacing a certain VP nominee.
Yeah, well, that doesn't rise to the shit we can't talk about. I'm talking about like
I mean, if he becomes, what I'm saying is, if he becomes a legitimate VP nominee, the press is going to start doing some real vetting, which they haven't so far.
Oh boy.
And then the weird shit comes out.
Well, let's move.
Use something you've seen before next time, maybe.
And finally, we've learned I should not say we've ever reached a peak, because the next time RFK Jr. will do something else. He will.
And like I said, this is the stuff he's willing to talk about. What are the things he's not willing to talk about?
Like, we're going to go, he's going to get to the next fucking press conference with Trump. He's going to walk out there in a suit that he made out of like 3 people he found in the parking lot and act like what? What? What's wrong?
It's eco-friendly.
What, you don't do this?
It's eco-friendly leather.
Fuck. How the fuck?
Can you imagine being like Bobby Kennedy's ghost right now? And being like, look, yeah, like me and my brother, we were corrupt as fuck. Like
the fuck happened to my fucking kid?
100% we were in bed with organized crime and shit, but
my fucking kid
defiling animal corpses. Like,
he's
what
gonna
happened?
He's gonna blurt out that, like, at like Thanksgiving 1967 or something. This would be like, oh yeah, we buried Hoffa under the house, and then we had turkey.
That's what I'm saying. We've only scratched the surface.
Because
we've only got the stuff that he thinks is fun anecdotes to tell Roseanne Barr.
It's like the fucking Deadpool with the guy. I'm gonna run you over to Zamboni in about 10 minutes. How do you not see the fucking bridge?
Yeah, because do shrimp boats go very fast?
You can't play chicken with a bridge. They don't dodge well.
No. You'll lose every time.
Fucking shit. All right, that is.
And don't fuck your sources. Especially if the whole person looks like a scrotum. For God's sake.
Everything JFK is just looking down and going, what the fuck happened here?
And he was corrupt as shit.
Yeah.
But at least he was good looking.
Okay. Yeah, sure. They had that going for him. Yes. Yes. That's the
Least
the
he and Bobby,
takeaway here.
like, you understand how they pulled Marilyn.
Like, did she like have Boinka Kennedy on like a bucket list or something? It's like
Maybe.
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, there's not that many left.
All right.
I mean, the one that dated Taylor Swift is still around. He's pretty good looking.
It's like the fucking Deadpool with the guy. I'm gonna run you over to Zamboni in about 10 minutes. How do you not see the fucking bridge?
Yeah, because do shrimp boats go very fast?
You can't play chicken with a bridge. They don't dodge well.
No. You'll lose every time.
Fucking shit. All right, that is.
And don't fuck your sources. Especially if the whole person looks like a scrotum. For God's sake.
Everything JFK is just looking down and going, what the fuck happened here?
And he was corrupt as shit.
Yeah.
But at least he was good looking.
Okay. Yeah, sure. They had that going for him. Yes. Yes. That's the
least
the
he and Bobby,
here.
like, you understand how they pulled Marilyn.
Like, did she like have Boinka Kennedy on like a bucket list or something? It's like
Maybe.
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, there's not that many left.
All right.
I mean, the one that dated Taylor Swift is still around. He's pretty good looking.
It's like the fucking Deadpool with the guy. I'm gonna run you over to Zamboni in about 10 minutes. How do you not see the fucking bridge?
Yeah, because do shrimp boats go very fast?
You can't play chicken with a bridge. They don't dodge well.
No. You'll lose every time.
Fucking shit. All right, that is.
And don't fuck your sources. Especially if the whole person looks like a scrotum. For God's sake.
Everything JFK is just looking down and going, what the fuck happened here?
And he was corrupt as shit.
Yeah.
But at least he was good looking.
Okay. Yeah, sure. They had that going for him. Yes. Yes. That's the
least
the
he and
takeaway
Bobby,
here.
like, you understand how they pulled Marilyn.
Like, did she like have Boinka Kennedy on like a bucket list or something? It's like
Maybe.
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, there's not that many left.
All right.
I mean, the one that dated Taylor Swift is still around. He's pretty good looking.